everyone. Happy Thursday. My name is Laura Milligan, and this is my weekly Facebook Live, Take Two. And during celebration, my Take Two Facebook Lives are going to feature products from our celebration brochure. And those are things you can get free with a qualifying order. And of course, we all love free, right? Free is good. So I have two really cute cards I'm going to share with you today, and they feature the driving by stamp set. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. I'm going to switch my view down. If you're there, say hi. If you're watching on replay, just comment replay because I love to know who's watching and I love to get your comments. Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay. So I wanted to just show you briefly. These are the cards that I made on Monday, and in my Facebook Live, they are featuring the New Horizons suite from our January to June mini catalog. Hi, Judy. How are you? And I just wanted to point this out because after showing these products, I will tell you the best way to order them is by just ordering the whole suite. It's really easy. It's one order number and you will get one of everything on this page. And I truly think I used every one of these in my Facebook Live on Monday. So let me show you those cards. I made a super simple one. This basically was just to showcase the designer paper. This was stepped up just a little bit. I made this on a note card, the note cards and envelopes that we sell. Pretty simple too, and again, just pretty much highlighting the designer paper. And then I made this tent card, and it was a little beach scene. And from the comments I received, it seems like this was everybody's favorite, and it really is not that hard to do. But if you go to my blog, lauramilligan.com, you will see all three of these. And if you need to watch the replay to see how I put those together, you're welcome to do that. And you can do that through my blog, lauramilligan.com. All right, so today I thought it would be fun during celebration to feature the products that you can get for free. Celebration this year runs from January 4th through February 28th, and today I am showcasing the Driving By stamp set, which has three cute little cars, some cute sayings, really, really fun. So let me show you my first card. I need to make sure I have it. Oh my gosh. Okay, here it is. If you could see beyond this screen today, all the stuff that is piled up around me. Oh my goodness, crazy. Okay, so this is my first card. It's a fun fold. It features the race car. And so I'm going to start with my base. This was 4¼ by 11. I scored it at 5½, and then I cut off 2¾ from one side, and that created the base, and it's just a smaller opening in the front. So I'm going to grab a bone folder here and just give this a nice crease. All right. So this piece that I'm using next, this is actually from my card front, and you can see where I cut it at 2¾ and then I just trimmed it up a little bit. That's probably about ½ an inch. So I just wanted to make it a little bit smaller, and that's going to go right here on my card. It'll open just like that. So I used some designer paper for this card, and I kind of want to do a black and white theme because I thought it would be good to do something that would be a little more masculine. So I'm going to take a scrap paper here, and I'm going to show you how I did the car. So the designer paper that I'm using is super cool, and it's a giant pack of designer paper. It is in the very back of the catalog. It's called Pattern Party Designer Series paper. It has 48 sheets of paper, and let me pull this down a little bit. You can tell I've been using mine, but one side is colorful, all these fun, cute patterns, and then the opposite side are black and white. Some really cute patterns. flowers, there's checks and stripes, there's leaves. Really, really great. And let me show you, because I have my catalog here. To earn this, or to get this, this is a host reward, which means you have to host a party. But a lot of times you don't actually host a party, you just put a big order in yourself, which is really easy to do. Hi, Kathy, how are you? Hi, Anne-Marie. Hi, Debbie, Colleen. It's funny because I looked out my window a couple minutes ago and it was like a whiteout. It was snowing really hard. Now it's not snowing much at all. But so this paper, it's in the back of the catalog. These are stamp sets, and in this case, paper that you can get if you host a party. If you want to gather some friends to put some orders in together, or if you want to just put a big order in yourself, you can get this for free as part of your host rewards. It's $18, and it says it's a $30 value. So it's a great little not little set of paper, it's a big set of paper. So I stamped my car on this checkered paper. It kind of reminded me of a race car, the flags that they wave at the end of the race or at the start of the race. And so I'm going to get my little race car right here. And I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. This is my tuxedo black ink. And I'm just going to stamp this right on this paper. And then what I'm going to do is just take my paper snips, and I've already done this ahead of time just to save a little time. And I've cut out just the body of the car, cut around the wheels. So I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to stamp it again. And this is on a die that I cut. This is from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. This is one of my go-tos. I have several die sets that I go to, but this one is definitely one of them. And I love this little shape. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my car again and stamp it right on here. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of color to the balloons. And I thought with black and white, red is always a good choice. So I'm going to use my blends, and these are the dark and light real red. Oh. Okay, I'm going to start with, this is the dark, and I'm just going to add a little color here. Like that, and then I'm going to fill it in with my light red, and you'll just sort of blend that in. Okay, so there's my balloons. And then what I did, and I'm going to add a little bit of color to the wheels. And for the wheels, I'm using, let's see, this is Smoky Slate. Okay, what I'm looking for is light basic black. Here it is. Okay. Hi, Judy. How are you? Couple Judys here. Hi, Lisa. It's fun to see everybody popping in. I think it's a good day to stay home. I know some of you are at work. I appreciate all of you watching. So I'm going to go ahead and add color to the wheels. Just like that. And then I'm going to take light smoky slate, and I want to just add a little bit, just a teeny bit of a shadow behind the wheels. And then what I'll do is take my color lifter and just blend, just soften this a little bit. It just sort of grounds the car and makes it look a little more realistic. Although I've never seen a car that is black and white checked before, but why not? That's the fun of stamping, right? Okay, so I'm going to take my car that I cut out, and I'll use some mini dimensionals, and I'll just pop that right up. on the stamped car. The mini dimensionals, oops, fit this perfectly. This card goes together pretty quickly. I don't know if any of you like to watch car races, but my family, some of my family has recently gotten really interested in the Formula One races, and I don't know, this little card made me think of that. So there's my car, that's the focal point. So now let's put this together. Oh, the only other stamping I'm going to do, I might as well get that done now too. Driving by, here's my finished one. I kind of slid it out of the way. Driving by just to say hi. And I'm going to just stamp that right down here on this lower panel. Driving by just to say hi. There we go. Okay, now we're going to put it together. So I'm going to move my ink out of the way. Hi, Becky. Hi, Vicky. Thank you. Judy, or Vicky likes this card. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to put this together. So I'm taking a piece of my designer paper, and let me grab my glue. My favorite adhesive these days. I'm going to go ahead. I don't know if it's, so here's my trusty little straight pin. I'm going to just poke that in the end here. Get my glue flowing. There we go. And you don't need much. I'm going to put that right there. This is a quick, simple, fairly quick card. Okay, then I'm going to take this piece and I'll attach that to my card front. But you have to be careful with this because you don't want to put glue under this part or it won't open. So I'm just going to put the glue on the left-hand panel there, just a little bit. And I just want to make sure it's straight. That looks pretty good. I think we all decided Monday that sometimes crooked is okay. It just means it's handmade, but I don't want it to be too crooked. Okay, that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to take another little strip of this designer paper. This sort of reminded me of tire tracks. Oh yeah, Colleen, you've gone to the IndyCar races. Those are fun. My grandma, believe it or not, loved to watch the IndyCar races, which was pretty fun. So I'm just going to put this. This is sort of like my road, or I thought it looked like tire tracks. So I'm going to put that there on that little piece. And then I'm going to take my paper snips and just angle it like that. And then I am going to take, this is a double ribbon pack. And either one of these would look great with this, but I was trying to keep it a little more masculine. This is the Playful Pets double ribbon combo pack. It's from the annual catalog, but I decided to use the twine. Either one would be good. So I'm going to tie a bow. Snip that. And that is going to go underneath this panel. Just going to attach it like that. So I'm going to get a glue dot. Pick up my glue dot. And that's just going to go right under here. And I'll just pull these ends because I wanted those to kind of hang off the end there like that. And then this piece I'm also going to attach with some dimensionals. I just had my mini ones handy, so I'm just going to use those. The regular ones would work as well. Okay. And that's just going to go right on there like that. And then to finish this up, I just added, these are a new embellishment that we have. They're called Classic Matte Dots, and they come in 4 different colors: black, gray, vanilla, and white, and different sizes as well. So I'm just going to open these up and just add a couple of these with my Take Your Pick tool, which I know I have because maybe I didn't bring it over here. Oh yeah, here it is. You know, once I started using this, I feel lost without it. It just makes it so much easier to attach little gems. So I'm just going to put 3 of these right here on my card. Put it just right there like that. All right. So there is card number 1, driving by just to say hi. It has a little fun opening. And of course the little checkered car. I thought it was pretty fun. I hope you like it as well. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Cindy. Okay, now my next card, if you saw my blog post on Monday, I did what I called a Groovy Card. And let me show you. I made one today. It's a little bit different. I'm going to show you this because I got a lot of comments on this and people wanted to know how I did this background. So I'm going to show you. And this one, it's kind of like it reminds me of like hippies or something just because of the colors and the orange van. So let me show you how I did this. Let me grab my packet. I don't know why, but when I think of vans like this, I always think of orange ones. Okay, so here's my packet, and I am using a little strip of paper. This is also a Celebration product. And I've used this quite a bit on other things, but it's free. It's a level 1 free. So with $50 purchase, you can get this for free. And it is called Sunshine and Rainbows. It's a super cute designer paper. Okay. So this one, if you don't like to get your hands messy, you're probably not going to like this technique, but I actually had a lot of fun making this. So let me just show you how it's done. So I started with 3 different colors of ink for my background. Yes, yeah, Vicky says it reminds her of the Scooby-Doo van. I agree. It does. Yeah, that's a good visual, right? Okay, so I am using Pacific Point, Melon Mambo, and Pumpkin Pie inks. And I am using blending brushes. These are really fun. These are the kind of tools, they sort of make you feel like you're an artist when you're using them. It's a great way to add a little bit, or in this case, a lot of color to a project. And I marked this because I wanted to show you. These are from the annual catalog. They are right here. It's on page 129. You get 3 brushes in a pack for $12. And what I do is, I mean, it would be great to have one for every single color, but that's probably not realistic for most of us. So what I do is like, I'll keep one for my oranges, my blues, and maybe one for greens, you know, darker pinks. But you don't need to have one for every single color unless you really want to. If you do, go to my store, right, and use this host code, and that would be awesome. Just kidding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Melon Mambo. This is our regular basic white cardstock. It's not thick, it's just the regular. And I'm going to take my blending brush and just swirl it around. And what I like to do before I add the color to the cardstock, and this is cut 4 by 5 1/4, I like to start off my paper just so that I don't get a harsh edge. I'm going to pick it up again. And then basically this is the technique. You just keep swirling color. And you can make it as dark or as light as you want. I wanted it to be pretty vibrant in this case. Hi, Marianne. How are you? I agree. I always love black and white. Okay, so I'm just swirling this on. Like that, and then I'm going to go to my pumpkin pie. And this is a different blending brush, so I'm going to just swirl it around. Now I'm going to start below and above that Melon Mambo. And I'm overlapping the colors because I want it to all just be kind of blended together. And you can see you just keep layering on the color, and the more you layer, of course, the brighter it will get. It's just fun. It's fun to do this technique. Okay, Okay, like that. And then I'm going to add some of the pumpkin pie at the top here. And the fun thing about this is every one you do is going to be a little bit different. At least the ones that I have done, they're all a little bit different. It's always a swirling motion. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then my final color is Pacific Point, that bright blue color. Just going to fill in the corners with this. And you can see this is much lighter now, but it actually looks pretty like that. But again, I was actually pulling colors from this strip of designer paper, so I wanted it to be pretty bold. So I'm going to go ahead and just darken this up a little bit. And really, I mean, my hands are dirty. They're covered in ink, but I can run my hands across this and it's dry. So it's not too bad. Okay. I'm just going to blend here where it hits the pumpkin pie. Okay. And then I'll just add some more here. And you just keep adding color and adding color. Yeah, it's really, I encourage you to try this. It's just fun to do something different. Okay, so I've got a little bit of blobs on there. I think I'm picking it up from my fingers, but hopefully I'll be able to cover that up. Okay, so then what you do is you're going to take, let me get my ink pads out of the way here. So do you know, if you get ink on your fingers, like I have some smudges right now, if you take hand sanitizer and just rub it on your hands, it will dry the ink and remove anything that's wet so that you're not going to get it all over your project, like I just did, but it's okay. Hi, Michelle. Okay, now what you want to do is take rubbing alcohol. 91% is what you want. There is a difference. There's a couple different ones, I think, but you want to use the 91%. And then I'm just using, if you have an aqua painter, you could use that. This is one of our water brushes, and I am actually just dipping this in like this to get it wet. And I'm just going to drop, and you can flick it, or you can do big droplets. And I wanted to have some big droplets, but it's kind of fun to do a little bit of everything. So this is sort of a messy technique. I don't normally do things like this, but I just thought it was fun. Yes, we all have plenty of hand sanitizers these days, don't we? We're not at a shortage of that. So you can see how where I've dropped the alcohol, then it's sort of pulling the color. You need to let this dry. It doesn't take very long, but I'm going to get my brush out again because I'm going to add some more little flecks to this. You can do as little or as much as you want. And then I just let this air dry, and of course, because it's that rubbing alcohol, it's going to evaporate. So let me put my lid back on here. Okay, it smells nice and clean in here now too. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside to dry. I did another one earlier today. Well, here's a couple. You can see how they're all just a little bit different depending on how you do it, but they're really bright and fun. So I'm going to use this one to complete this card. I'm going to take this wet piece away, and let's just put this card together. I'm going to start with my thick white and my bone folder. And my little parts and pieces. So I'm going to stamp. Well, first you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and add this Does it make you think of like the 70s and hippies? It does me. It's pretty groovy, right? This is a groovy card. Okay, so I'm just going to add some adhesive to attach this to my card front. This would be cute for a rainbow card as well. Okay, so put that on there, and then I'm going to add my little strip of designer paper. Before I do that though, I have a little vellum scallop circle that I added. So I'm going to just put a little bit of adhesive below that. It will be covered up by this strip. I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of that. So we'll put that in place. And then I'll attach this layer. And it'll cover up my glue, which is good. That's about 1/2 inch by 5 1/4, so it just fits right on this panel. Okay, then I'm going to take some white paper and stamp the van. Go ahead and stamp that. This is with Tuxedo Black because I'm going to use my blends to color this. And then the other thing I'm stamping, I might as well do while I have my ink out, is just driving by to say hi. It's the same greeting I used on the first card. I'm just going to stamp that here. Okay. And let me show you a little bit how I colored this van. So I wanted to, again, I pulled colors from that designer paper, and when I think of these vans, like I said, I think of orange. So I'm going to use my pumpkin pie, and I like to start with the dark color first. I'm just going to color, you know, where I think a shadow would be. Probably up along these a little bit and on the front, and then underneath here. Put a little bit up here as well. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in my light pumpkin pie and just blend this in. Just pull that dark color into the light and soften those lines a little bit. I always use the bullet point end of my blends for the most part. I feel like for me, it gives me better control. It's harder for me to use that brush tip. Okay, so we're just going to add that color. I love coloring with these, and I think the more I do it, the better I get. I mean, I'm not that great at it, but I do my best, and I think it's relaxing. I enjoy coloring. Not everybody does, but are you all colorers? I hope so. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Soften this line just yet a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to use light smoky slate for the trim on the van, the hubcaps, and the fenders. It even has a little exhaust pipe in the back there. It's so cute. And I did this. One thing I've learned with this is you don't have to, it's okay to have some white spots, and you of course want to have some lights and darks. I just practice and practice. Okay, oh, and then I need to do I'm going to do the rim. I'll make those smoky slate as well. This part, you definitely need this smaller tip of the blending pen. All right. My tire, I am going to use, this is light basic black. And again, I'm going to do the bullet point. Then I'm going to bring in my color lifter and just lift a little color from the wheels, just so they're not so solid black. I'll just do a little bit, soften those up a little. Okay. And then I didn't really want the windows to just be pure white, so I'm going to use a light balmy blue blend, and I'm just going to put a couple, just barely dotting on just a little bit of color in those windows. And then I'm going to take my color lifter again and just blend those in, soften those up. And that'll just, I think it makes the windows look more like they're windows. So I'm just blending those little dots that I made. And just kind of swirling it around just to kind of spread out that color. And you just want to do it until you can't see the lines anymore. You don't want it to look like you put 3 little stripes across the window, but just keep blending and blending. And you can see it's just very, very subtle, but I like that look better than the pure white. And then I actually added some color to the hubcaps as well. I think for this one I'm just going to leave as is, but then I just cropped it out with my paper snips. And let me bring in my card base again. I hope you will try this technique. I would love, if you make a card like this, I'd love for you to share it with me. I'd love to see what you're doing with this. Okay, I'm just going to attach this with some of my dimensionals again. Cindy loves color. Yes, I agree, Cindy. I think it's really relaxing. So I'm just going to put this van right here, right behind the vellum. And then my words, driving by just to say hi. I'm just going to trim these. Just take my paper snips and I'm just going to turn this into 2 little phrases. Driving by, just to say hi. I'll just trim that off, and those are just going to be attached to the front. And these I'm just going to do with glue. So glue those on. I think my glue is running a little bit low today. There we go. So, don't want to put it on upside down. Driving by, just to say hi. Okay, so we'll do that right there like that. So there's my card, and then I wanted to finish it, and I was trying to think of what embellishments would look cute on this card. And I remembered we have these really cool loose flower flourishes. They are from our annual catalog, and they come in colors that were close enough to this card that I thought that would be fun. It made me, again, it was the 70s and hippies and flower power and all of that. So I'm just going to attach these with a glue dot. Oh, you know what I just realized? I got a whole stack of additional birthday cards. I think because of the holiday, on Monday we didn't get mail, so I had a lot of cards arrive, and I wanted to show them to you, and I don't have them here with me right now, so maybe I'll show those to you on Monday, because it seems like you all like to see the cards I get. So I'm going to put that one there. These come in 2 different sizes, and then I'm just going to finish it up. I don't know, I could do purple. I think I'm going to do this color. Any of those will work. The purple's kind of pretty too, but I'm going to stick with the peach or this is pale papaya. So I'm going to pick this up with the dimensional and just put that right there. And there is my finished card. Driving by just to say hi. So what do you think? Are you going to try this technique? I'd love to know if you are. Here's my other card that I did today. So you can see totally different looks from the same stamp set just by switching up and trying some different things. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed these cards. I think they're really fun and hope you'll give this technique a try. I will be back on Monday. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing Monday. I have a couple ideas in my head, but please be sure to join me at 1 o'clock on Monday for a Facebook Live. And I will be putting an order in tomorrow, Friday. If there are any products that you would like to order, I would be thrilled if you would order through me. You can go to my blog, which is lauramilligan.com, and there is a shop button that you can just click on that. It will take you directly to my store, or you can email me and I can help you with your order. I'm happy to do that. If your order is $50, of course you could get this driving by stamp set for free, and I think it's pretty cute. You know, we're always looking for masculine cards, and I think these cards kind of fit the bill. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. And as always, I hope you have time to be creative today. Thanks so much, everyone. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Bye-bye.